to another episode from Fear to Courage. Today, I have the honor to interview a somewhat crazy entrepreneur, but her craziness is what leads her to success. Her creativity, courage, and out-of-the-box thinking to help other startup businesses is what leads her to her place today. Sydney, welcome to the show.
Thank you, William. I'm so happy to be here.
So Sydney, I gave you an introduction to give my audience, what we can expect from this interview. So fill us in on your background. I mean, I know that you sent me a bio about it, but tell us a little bit about your journey. It's like, wow, how did you go this route? How did you find that courage to just go all in? Whatever happens.
Well, I feel like courage is something that, to me, it builds over time. So you have these small accomplishments that give you the confidence to do bigger things. And so, so ever since I was little, I would always explain to people that my brothers and I have two younger brothers are kind of like the characters of the Wizard of Oz. So one of them, the investment banker, got the brain. He's the scarecrow. The other one, he's the Tin Man, so he becomes a doctor, and he gets the heart, and I get the lion's courage. So I'm very happy for that. And so I graduated from McGill with a Bachelor's of Commerce. Then I moved on another one-way ticket, actually. I keep liking to buy one-way tickets just to see what would happen. So I moved all the way to Paris, and that's where I do my MBA. And that was my first time in Europe, actually, and I met friends from all over the world. And that, I find, is something that really does help your sense of awareness, your sense of the world, and it builds up your experiences for life in general, business and personal. And then the only job that I was able to get was in the technology industry, and that was because I graduated at a very tough time in terms of the economy. There were very few marketing jobs, so if you wanted a marketing job, you had to be marketing and something else. So for me, it was automation, CRM, Salesforce, those kinds of things. And I was really interested in working with startups. So in my free time, I went to a lot of startup events in Montreal. And then I had a friend from San Francisco who said if I was very serious about learning about tech and startup, then I gotta go to San Francisco. So I did. I bought a one-way ticket and I moved in with him. I presume that was an invite. And so I stayed there until I basically had no more visa. So I didn't have an actual visa. I was there on basically like a traveler's visa that you can get in Canada, which was almost invisible. And then, and I didn't have a job. I was trying to get a job there, and I didn't have an apartment, which was impossible to get in Silicon Valley. And so I eventually, I found out later, there were actually a few of my friends who did the same thing around the same time, except they lived, underneath the Golden Gate Bridge because they didn't have a really good friend like mine. And we really wanted it that badly to be industry leaders, that badly to dive into the unknown and kind of see what would happen. And they all come out with really kind of crazy stories too. So yes, for me, I knew that my time was limited if I didn't have a visa there. So I got every opportunity to talk to every single Uber driver, find out everything I can, talk to every single house cleaner who was on TaskRabbit, and talk to every single dog walker who was on Wag. Basically every app was producing jobs, right? And the interesting thing was all of these people had goals. And I don't just mean like I'm paying off, my student loans, which is a great goal. I mean like they never told you that they did all of these side jobs for money. They told you what their goal was and how they were just fearless in terms of achieving those goals through any means possible. And I was just in so much awe and admiration to be in such an assertive startup culture. And that's what inspired me to build a company to serve startups all around the world.